This is Michael Buzinski with Buzzworthy Integrated Marketing at buzzworthy.biz, and you're listening to EA Interviews.
EA Interviews, episode 356.
Inspiration, transformation, success stories, and the Imperfect Action Round. 7 days a week. Join Mario Ficini for today's Expert Authority Effect interview.
Expert Authority World, I'm super excited to be here with you today. I have none other than Michael Buzinski, author of The Rule of 26 and CMO of Buzzworthy Integrated Marketing. And we're going to be talking about increasing your leads using the Rule of 26. And I'm going to bring him up right after we thank our sponsor. Every business needs a book, including yours. And that's why I'm launching my new book to help you regardless of where you think your current writing abilities are. Visit eapublishingmethodbook.com today to learn the 7 steps to publish and promote your nonfiction lead and profit-generating business book in 8 weeks. Once again, that's eapublishingmethodbook.com. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Buzinski. Michael, how are you feeling today?
I'm doing great, Mario. How are you?
I'm feeling awesome. How is life been treating you?
Doing really well. I'm getting ready for a overseas trip, one of the first since COVID kicked off, going down to Peru for a couple weeks.
How long are you, you said a couple weeks you're going to be
2
down
weeks.
there? 2 weeks exactly?
Yep. Almost exactly on the ground, 2 weeks.
Nice.
Total of
Have you ever been to
16
Peru
days.
before?
Nope, never been to Peru. It's my wife's 40th birthday, and she wanted to see Machu Picchu. And I says, well, while we're there, why don't we see the rest of the country? So we're going to be in the Amazon, Sacred Valley, Cusco, and Lima, on top of getting to actually walk on the ruins of Machu Picchu.
Oh, wow. That'll be exciting.
I'm excited.
So what's allowing you to just disappear for 2 weeks like that and go see all of that?
Well, first, my amazing team behind me at Buzzworthy is allowing me to do that. And that was predicated by almost 3 years of blood, sweat, and tears setting up my company. We went from a full-fledged, like 13,000 square foot facility in Anchorage, Alaska, 25 employees in-house, the whole 9 yards. And I restructured my entire company and went 100% virtual in January 2019. So
Wow.
by the time COVID had hit, we were already kind of set up and ready to go. But I wanted to have more time with my family, more time for myself and personal growth and health and travel. And so now we're able to actually do more work with less work, doing less time at work, I should say that way. And the
Leveraging it. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, and everybody that works now gets to live the lifestyle they want to live and still fulfill their dreams in their professional field.
So even before the world went nuts, what inspired you to go 100% virtual when you had a nice facility to begin with? I mean, don't you need the building to do business?
No, not in our industry. There was a time where I thought that was definitely it. That's what the institutional thinking was that, you needed a brick and mortar and all the things, right? And I tell you, I was miserable. As multi-7-figure creative agency, had all of the culture that we wanted and all the things that the books tell you that are going to make you happy. And I was miserable. I had to deal with things I didn't want to deal with, building issues and HR issues and all of the things that really took me away from what I really love to do, which is marketing. And so this allows me to, really not have to be a CEO of my own company anymore. I can hire the business manager out and just be the president and CMO and really focus on what's important for me professionally and personally.
So how do you like being the CMO and just focusing on what you do love?
Oh man, I have so much more energy. I don't know if my team can handle it anymore because I have I'm not bogged down with 4 hours of emails and administrative tasks every day. So my Today I'm going to be on a total of about 7 calls, but it's my natural habitat to be communicating and thinking and creating. And so I love it. And I think my team is definitely getting the benefit of fresher ideas now, because my right brain is allowed to be free for the most of the day.
That's the way to do it. I can relate to that, because I know when I have my team taking care of stuff and it's like, okay, I'm focusing on, the show, let's say. It's like you just go off and it's like, it doesn't matter if it's realistic, crazy, whatever, because you're just in this place of creating new ideas and innovating. And that's really what drives everything forward. It's not just, okay, it's not the McDonald's mentality of, the drive-through where are we getting people through efficiently. You could relate to the emails and be like, well, I got through 176 emails in 3.5 hours. And yesterday it was 4 hours. I'm improving. It's like, you're not supposed to be doing it in the first place. Like, that's a horrible waste of your time, unless it's maybe for a marketing campaign where you're very, we're talking one-on-one, or it's, something personal. But even that, I think you'd be texting or calling or something more. But the point is, stay focused on the highest and best use of your time.
Definitely. I'm definitely spend majority of my time now in strategy, both for the company and for my clients.
So speaking of strategy, tell us about the Rule of 26, both the strategy and the book.
All right. So the Rule of 26 is my answer to 3 months of drudging through marketing strategy and planning that traditional advertising agencies and creative agencies usually go through. It's very common for the first 90 days of your relationship with a marketing firm to really just dive deep into your business and what you've done, what has worked and what has not, and the whole 9 yards. Problem is that with small businesses, specifically service-based businesses, and those who have been around a while already understand a lot of that. And they just don't have the time, patience, or even the money to pay somebody to drudge back through what they already know. And so when COVID hit, I needed to find a way to shortcut myself into a service-based business's mindset for marketing. Because if you talk to most service-based business owners, they'll tell you their website doesn't make them any money. And there's a reason for that. But their mentality is, well, I get most of my business from word of mouth and from referrals. I'm like, well, you can't scale your business that way. And so I needed to be able to succinctly describe how easy it is to really focus on the things that actually work and move the needle and show them measurable results that their website can predictably deliver. And that's where I came with the Rule of 26, which states simply that if you increase the unique traffic to your website by 26%, the conversion rate of your website by 26%, and the average revenue per client from your website by 26%, you'll get a compounded output of revenue of 100%. So you will double the revenue you're getting from your website. And so when you're done with that, say you don't have a lot of sales. Okay, that's great. Then you'll double quickly. And then you just do it again and you'll double again. And you do it until you are to the size that you want. But once you've done it twice, you've actually now have a predictable gas pedal for the revenue inside your company.
This is what I love about business: leverage, time compounding, all these beautiful things. How does 78% equate to 100? I know when you're saying you take the 26, the 26, the 26, but this is a beautiful thing.
It is. And some people, they'll push back. There's one of the KPIs, which is the average revenue per client. And some folks that are like maybe in healthcare say, well, we can't change how much or how often somebody comes back with us. So we're actually able to do it with just conversion rates and traffic. And so if you did 56% more traffic and 26% better conversion rate, you'd get the same compounded effect.
That's exciting. And I want to clarify a couple of things, just in case Expert Authority World, someone is listening, and you said KPIs and unique visitors. I know you're referring to key performance indicators and the visitors on your website, but from an SEO perspective, why are the unique visitors important to you?
Because those are people. Most people have their Google Analytics set up without any filters. And one of the most important filters when you are really measuring the effectiveness of your conversion rates is to make sure that you're only measuring human beings and unique human beings. So you can have a human being come back to your website 3 or 4 times.
Mhm.
Well, that's one unique visitor for that month. And that's very important that you understand that, so that you're not confounding not confounding, but misrepresenting the amount of traffic you technically have. So how many fresh eyeballs are coming to your website, because that will tell you how effective your website is. If you have 100 unique people coming to your website and only, nobody's calling you or even reaching out to you via your email or your contact form or anything like that you have within your website, then your website's broken. And we have to take a look at your flow and try to figure out why your website's not connecting with your visitors.
Yeah, that's an important point, because you want to engage and get that information, but at the same point, you don't want to go, wow, I'm getting 1,000 people to my site, when really it's 10 or 100 that have just keep coming back now. You want the repeat visitors, because that means they like what you're doing. And for eainterviews.com with the show, I like seeing, hey, there's someone that was here. It tells me you listen to more than one episode, but at the same point, I'm very aware with the team that we're not overinflating it and saying, oh, yeah, whatever, when it's really, a lot of this is repeat, which is a good thing. But just be aware of that and don't confuse yourself, like you're saying.
Right. And I think that, for a podcast website, your traffic can make you money. So you want to be able to track your repeat traffic so that, for your advertisers, like, listen, we have 10,000 eyeballs. Those 10,000 eyeballs are made up of 3,000 folks who are coming to our website 3 times a month. Okay, great. Now they know what they're paying for. And that's awesome for you, because then you can charge more for that.
Yeah, and the traffic is an important thing, because there's the stats from the actual downloads, then there's the stats on the site. But I also like to cross-reference it, and tell me if you do this with your clients, where, my core business is business book publishing. So we have stuff set up for people to be checking that and cross-reference the stats, like the referral sources, when you're looking through analytics. How do you take those into account as a KPI for most of your clients?
Well, when we're looking at the rule of 26, we only have them look at those 3 KPIs. That we don't need to confuse them or bog them down with other KPIs that don't mean anything to them, because these 3 KPIs specifically move revenue needles, and business owners, that's what gets them up in the morning, when the revenue needle is moving, right? So if we're having problems with traffic converting, we're going to take a look at where that traffic is. If it's referring from bad referral sources, we might actually cut ties with that website that's referring to us, especially if it's not giving us any domain authority. So if it's not a reputable website that's referring to us and giving us bad leads, sorry, can you please take our website off of your website? Because you're probably getting more from it than we are, and you're wasting our time by giving us bad leads.
Do elaborate on that. I'm smiling because I know what you're referring to, but what is domain authority, and why is it important?
So domain authority is a score. Some say arbitrary, but it is a score that basically tells Google how trustworthy your website is to the general public. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. But one of them is who is referring to your website. So if you have a big website, let's say like the New York Times, and they link back to your website, Google sees that and says, wow, this big website is loving this little website. There must be something cool in this little website. So we're going to give them what I call Google juice. And it gives them a little bit more Google juice, which is the domain authority that goes into your rankings for all the keywords that you have in your website, and on and on and on.
That's exciting, because it's something we've been doing more with the show. Because 100 years ago when I started the business, it was like I didn't really know about SEO, and also if you're not putting a lot into fresh content and keeping it up, because the reality is it takes time, energy, and money. If you're just doing a basic 5 or 10 page static site that really isn't moving, you can argue, you might say it's worth it and I can show you how to improve it in 6 to 12 months, but I just never did. Now with the show, we've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes, all, with show notes and the video and all that. And I go, you know what? I can actually wrap my head around this. It makes sense not only to improve everything, but 10 years of everything I was told finally started clicking, going, oh my gosh, I have a model I can actually apply it to. Does that make sense to you?
100%. And that's the hardest part for a lot of people, is that when you don't have a blog. So we just relaunched our website, and we had broken our creative agency out into 2 different divisions. So I have a media company that has taken all of the old content and all of the wonderful domain authority along with it. And we've had to restart a brand new website, buzzworthy.biz, with all the digital marketing aspects of the business, right? And with that, we have 35 pages in our website to break out everything that we do for people, depending on how they want to work. Do they want to work on their own? Do they want to work with us, or they don't want us to work for them and just do everything for them? So there's lots of ways to skin that cat, right? But when it comes to SEO content, we had to build that into the description of everything we did, because we didn't have the 15 years of blogs and videos and all of the things, portfolio stuff and everything we had from the old website to bring over, because it wasn't relevant anymore. And I think that's really what we have to pay attention to, is the relevancy of our content. If it's not relevant, Google will sniff it out, and it just becomes spam to them, and it muddies the water, and it really hurts your SEO.
That kind of hits close to home, because conversely, as a business owner, you just spent 10 or 15 years building it all up, and you did put a lot of time, energy, and money into it. But it's reminding me of the book, Who Moved My Cheese? It's like, you can sit there and complain for 2 years, why isn't it working? Or you could just roll with it, fix it, and by a year. What's your official take? If someone goes, I want to start right now, would you say 6 to 12 months is a conservative timeline to start seeing SEO-ish results?
So we always, when we work with folks on their SEO, we tell them we're going to see noticeable results, not profitable results, noticeable results within 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
We're going to start seeing profitable results, so actual new targeted traffic from your profitable keywords within that 6 to 12 months. Okay. But it really does take anywhere between 12 months and 24 months to get like the scale. And that all depends on your industry. The more niche you are, the easier and faster it is to do that. But if you're broad, or you're in a highly competitive industry, we got a lot of work to do. And if you don't like creating content, that means either you pay for somebody to do it, or we wait for that content to mature and really just become its own. So my old website still brings in business. We get requests for media production from the old website on a weekly basis. And we don't do anything with it, because we're not trying to get more out of that. It's a legacy business. Where Buzzworthy, we're actively working on the SEO. And so we just launched the new website just a few months ago, and we know we're not going to see anything until probably Q1 of next year, because I'm in a very competitive industry.
But you set that expectation with, off the get-go. And I think a lot of the things that deterred me from doing it before this year was, a lot of people are like, oh, we'll get you skyrocketed in 3 weeks or under a month or 2. And I was like, you're just flat out lying to me, because I might not know everything about it, but I know enough to know. I didn't know if it's 3, 4, 5, 6 months, but I love your transparency saying you'll see noticeable results in 3 to 6 months, but profitable in 6 to 12. That's a big difference. But conversely, if you have a 5-page site and you're not willing to do content of any kind, and I know you need someone you need to be able to, you can't steer a parked car. Conversely, right. I get where business owners are coming from, going, it's going to be how much a month and take how long?
Right.
And I have to do all this extra work?
Game. Right. Well, a lot of people don't understand. It's a long game, right? Mm-hmm. And if you want to play a short game, it's more expensive, because Google ads aren't cheap, right? And so
Every
a
year
lot
you're
of
playing the same year over and over. At least with this, at some point it breaks even and you're taking advantage of it.
Oh, you're leveraging over the years. I mean, if you're in year 2 and 3, if you're not getting results, somebody's not doing their job. Period. End of story. And they do compound because it success begets success. And so once you are ranked number one on great keyword, there's a halo effect that goes around that. And that means that those related keywords get bumped up. And when they start getting into the number one position, then their related and halo effect creates that. And so then you start creating this huge ecosystem of profitable keywords that are getting you more and more and more traffic that way. And so I tell people, like, if you're going to start out, it's better to do both. So I totally understand what you're talking about when people sit there and say, I will guarantee results in the next few weeks. I just talked to a gentleman today, and he was saying that he went through an SEO company that said, we'll guarantee you number one. But the problem, they did exactly what they said they were going to do. They didn't lie to him, but they misled him because they were getting results for non-profitable keywords that his potential clients are not using to find folks like him.
So they got him to number one, but it's pointless. Now,
It
I
was
know
vanity
even 10 years
ranking.
ago, with video, you actually could start ranking videos. The quickest one I did was within 18 minutes. Put a video on YouTube. Put a video on YouTube.
You can do that today.
Yeah. And I know it's only improved, but so with the video aspect, it was like, oh, here's a whole other thing that's awesome about video. I've always loved video. It's what my first book is on. But, you know, I was always gun shy because there's so many people out there doing that crap. And I'm smiling because, correct me if I'm wrong, but are you referring to internal linking and orphan content in the sense of making sure there is none on your site?
You can. I mean, that's definitely a part of your on-site SEO. You want to make sure that all of your links are working and there's nothing just hanging out there for no reason. And I also think that content for content's sake is a waste of everybody's time, including your user. And you're really just not respecting their time when you do that.
So just having a site that's all keyword loaded for the sake of it being keyword loaded.
No, doesn't do anybody any good. And Google knows that because when your conversion rate's low and your bounce rate, so if somebody comes to your website, doesn't click on anything, doesn't stay out there long enough, it's what they call a bounce. They just came in and they bounced back out. If your bounce rate's above 52%, they know that you don't have the right content for the keywords that got them there. So you want to make sure that you're grabbing them in that first 3 to 8 seconds is all you got.
That's not much. That's not much at all.
No,
man. I know we could go for
that your
hours.
Keywords are landing on. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
Just the trick there is to make sure that your keywords are loaded onto pages that are extremely pertinent to those keywords and why that somebody would be looking those keywords up. So make them relevant. Relevancy is everything now.
So you're telling me it's not just so you're telling me with SEO and business you should be transparent, integrous, and congruent?
Yes, 100% every time.
Who would have thunk? I know we could talk hours about this, and I would love to, but I want to ask you real quick about your book. What inspired you to write your book, and why would you, if you have all this other content, why would you even bother doing a book for your business, and what has it done for your business?
So what inspired me to write the book was the fact that you can read about digital marketing for months on end and get absolutely nowhere. Literally rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole. And for a while, when we reinvented the BuzzBiz ecosystem and created Buzzworthy integrated marketing, it was specifically for established service-based businesses that could afford the done-for-you white glove. So you didn't have to learn anything. You just came to us and says, I want more predictable, profitable business for my company utilizing my website. Great. That's what we do. We do it really well. Here we go. Right. But when COVID hit, that was not what people were looking for. They were looking to survive. And I wanted to help people survive. And I'm like, how can I serve my community? And the only way I could think was I need to get something in their hands that they can use and have actionable resource so that they can get through this pandemic with their business intact. And that's what really inspired me.
Good for you. And thank you for making it available because, like I said, I was around people all the time. I've always had a large network of people even before the show. One of the reasons it wasn't that hard to kick off. But I just never pulled the gun on SEO. And we were doing websites originally. Oh, can you do the SEO too? No. No. No.
Not everybody can do SEO, though.
We'll do some killer video for you also in 3D stuff, but no. Right. And I'm glad you're out there doing it the right way, and even with what you said, making that available to people. So thank you again for that, and you're awesome. I wish we did have more time. I do want to ask you one thing before we go to the imperfect action round, and that is, I don't think you saw it. You didn't see it when we were getting ready?
No, I did not see this. This looks like a circus tent.
Circus? Oh, it could be. It's actually a hamster wheel, to be honest.
Oh, there we go. Okay, gotcha.
It is the wheel of whatever. That was not a good spin. We need to do better. There we go.
There you go.
When it looks like a helicopter blade, we're doing good. Yellow or black?
What am I picking? Yellow.
Yellow or black?
Yellow.
Wow, that thing's really going. It's not even slowing down. Yellow.
No.
Let's see what question is on yellow. Did you see it?
No.
It's because there's nothing on there.
Nice.
When I originally made it, I was going to make it like a common game show thing, like landed on stuff. And then it just, after a week or two of using it like that, I get carte blanche to say whatever I want, even if it's on something else. This is much better.
There you go.
So my question for you is, who's a company you would love to read? No. That's so businessy. We're having too much fun. Where's somewhere you've never traveled to that you'd love to, outside of Peru?
Outside of Peru, I want for my 50th birthday, I want to go to the Mediterranean Sea and get on one of those Viking cruise ships and just sail around Greece.
How big of a cruise ship?
The smaller ones. So the Viking ones only carry a few hundred up to maybe 1,000, and the big ones have a few thousand on them, and we don't want that. We want something intimate, easy to get in on and off of, but big enough to where my wife doesn't get seasick. So
fantastic.
But I've never been to Greece, and I want to go. Definitely want. And Greece is one of those ones you want to be on a boat because there's a lot of islands, and it's very expensive to just hop back and forth between the islands on private charters. So getting on a cruise and just being able to see the coastline through that would be really awesome.
What any specific areas like Santorini?
I am horrible at names of cities. I just see the pictures and go, I want to go there. And so then
that's the way to do it.
Wife, that's that. Yeah. And then she goes, okay, this is how much it costs. And I go, okay, here's that. And then she does all the planning.
I do both. So I'm clearly I'm very visual. So I'm like, ooh, that's pretty. That's pretty. That's pretty. But then I'm also curious enough to go like, where is this? Right. Santorini is one of my places I'm going to go to.
Gotcha. And then my second one that I'd like to go is Mongolia in the mountains of Mongolia. I'd like to hike up in there and where the monks and all those guys hang out and worship and stuff. I think that would be really cool cultural eco trip.
Great places. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I'm glad I didn't ask the boring question. See, if it was on the thing, I couldn't deviate from whatever it was going to ask, but
there you go. Awesome. I appreciate the question. It's a fun question. I love traveling. I've been to 26 countries now.
Wow. So. Yeah, I like traveling too. And it's so great. We were talking about like interviews in the show and, the microphones and stuff. I mean, there's no reason you can't even keep stuff going while you're traveling if you wanted to.
Yes, definitely. I think have you seen those videos where the gentleman has a PVC like harness that holds a green screen behind his head and then
where he's walking with it?
And he's walking with it. The last one I saw, he was at a football game and he was drinking beer while he's in a business meeting. I just picture myself doing a podcast interview on video that way.
Doesn't matter where you're at. Just like you could be standing in line at Disney World or something, like make it look like you're at a desk.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. It's amazing what you can do with tech nowadays.
Definitely.
We're going to thank our sponsor and come back for the imperfect action round. You've heard me say every business needs a book, including yours, and it's true. And that's why I'm launching my new book at eapublishingmethodbook.com so you can learn the 7 steps to publish and promote your nonfiction lead and profit-generating business book in 8 weeks. But you know what? Don't take my word for it. Take it from a few of my authors, like Lori.
And I went from having an idea and a possibility to actually getting my book published.
Or Catherine.
Thank you for making my mom #1 best-selling author.
Or Mary Alice.
What he got done for me in 3 days regarding my book launch, unmanageable.
John Cody.
I've worked with Mario over the phone and online, and he's been very helpful in getting me where I needed to go with promoting my books.
Rocio.
There's no way in the world I would have been able to do this with somebody else. I've attempted it in the past. It didn't serve me. As a matter of fact, I ended up more frustrated than anything. So this has been a very seamless process.
Adele.
If you're looking for an amazing business coach, I highly recommend Mario Ficini.
Or Bill Benner.
I can't make a higher recommendation than to work with Mario Ficini. He has been great for me, and right now I won't work with anybody else except for Mario.
Hey, their words, not mine. Visit eapublishingmethodbook.com to get your copy, and I look forward to hearing your transformation as our next video success story. Once again, that's eapublishingmethodbook.com. And we are back with the imperfect action round. Michael, are you ready to take imperfect action?
Imperfect actions. That sounds like just being human.
Absolutely. And
Ready.
It's something I've taught for decades. Some people think in business everything has to be perfect before, for example, with our books. The book has to be done, polished, then you start talking about it. Do you agree?
No. Oh gosh, I wouldn't have published my book yet. I would never publish my book if it got perfect.
So I've been telling people that with publishing for nearly a decade. I've been talking about imperfect action longer. So when I started the show, I was like, how do I structure it? What's the show flow? I go, what is integrous with what I teach and, frankly, is easy for me to talk about? And I go, the imperfect action round. So I got 3 questions for you. Okay. It's about taking imperfect action, and there's really no wrong answers. The first one is, what is the fastest path to the profits?
Fastest path to the profits. My first inclination is say passion. And then the second one is efficiencies, by getting yourself out of the way. You cannot be the best at everything you do that needs to be done in a profitable organization. Therefore, you need to surround yourself with people who are better than you on all the things that you're horrible at.
I love that. That is a great answer. Number 2, what is the biggest problem you see your prospects making and the fastest way for them to fix it?
They try to do it themselves when they could easily delegate. We go back to question 1. Quite honestly, delegate to professionals who can shortcut the whole learning process. Being in business myself for 17 years, that is something that I've learned. I want to do something new. Well, who is the expert? And if I can't afford the top expert, who's the person right below that? And I go down the echelon until I can find the person I can afford today to get it started. Because you don't need the absolute best all the time, but the absolute best usually gets you there faster, and a lot of times with a lot less testing and trial and error.
Yeah, you can't get the time back.
No, it is an invaluable commodity that people love to waste. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time.
People love to waste. I agree. The way you said it was so eloquent, though. People love to waste. I'm like, yup. Number 3.
I used to be one of those people, so I know firsthand.
Number 3. What is the best way to maximize customer lifetime value?
Authenticity, honesty, and congruency. If you are authentic into how you serve and why you serve, and you're honest about what you're going to provide your client, always be under promising and over delivering. I got that backwards. Sorry. And then be congruent with what you say and follow through. That's
excellent.
All you have to do.
Love that. Where would you like people to learn more?
I make that super easy. You go to buzzworthy.biz. That's buzzworthy with two Z's, BUZZWORTHY.biz. My book is at the top. All of our software, DIY stuff is at the bottom, and all of our services are in the middle. And everything you ever wanted to know about what we do.
Excellent. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you again, and I'm so glad we could set this up.
Oh, Mario, this is a wonderful show. You keep on doing this wonderful show.
Thank you. All right, Expert Authority World, we have another great episode here today. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, and God bless. You're already the expert, but have you transformed your expertise into a tangible asset that will generate qualified leads while increasing profit for you 24/7? And if so, how well are you promoting it? With my new book, The Expert Authority Effect Publishing Method, I take you through my process step by step. Visit eapublishingmethodbook.com today to learn the 7 steps to publish and promote your nonfiction lead and profit-generating business book in 8 weeks. Visit eapublishingmethodbook.com to get started now. Once again, that's eapublishingmethodbook.com. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I would love to know what you enjoyed most from it. If you haven't done so already, I invite you to connect with me on my new LinkedIn. You can go to it directly at eainterviews.com/LinkedIn. Once again, that's eainterviews.com/LinkedIn. Lastly, check out the full eainterviews.com site for complete show notes, the full interview video experience, links to the resources we mentioned, and more. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next one.